Good morning, everyone. Today's topic is nursery management. Okay. So, first of all, what is nursery? It is a place where seedlings are grown before transplanting in the main plots. So, there are many vegetables which cannot grow directly in the main field. Firstly, they have to grow in some uh, small piece of land that is known as nursery, where they require much more attention than in the field. Okay, so for example, there are many crops, vegetable crops like tomato, eggplant, cabbage, cauliflower. So these vegetables cannot be grown directly into the main field. Firstly, they need to grow in the nursery beds, and then these seedlings, when these seedlings are 1 month old or even sometimes 4 to 6 weeks old, then they are transplanted to the main field. And in nursery they get more attention. Okay, they are very sensitive, they require more attention, so they are firstly sown in nursery beds and then they are transplanted to the main field. So there are many advantages of transplanting the seedlings. Like if we are sowing the seed in the nursery beds and then we are transplanting. So firstly, we many of the vegetables are very costly and their seeds is very costly. So it helps us from purchasing the costlier seed because the seed is very costly, and if we broadcast that seed in the main field, then we require much more seed. But if we are sowing that seed in the nursery beds, at that time we require very less quantity of seed. So it help us from purchasing the costly seed. It ensures proper utilization of land, right? So firstly, when we sow our seeds in the nursery bed, then seedlings come out of the nursery bed and then seedlings are transplanted in the main field. And uh, gap we also do gap filling if the seedlings are not properly growing. So land utilization is proper in case of transplanting. But if we broadcast our seed in the main field, sometimes much of the seed is not germinated. So in this way, by transplanting the vegetable seedlings, we can utilize our land properly. There is easiness for the better growth and development in the nurseries. There is possibility of extension of transplanting of the seedling until the favorable time. So sometimes uh, environment or climate is not good for transplanting, so we can wait, and extension is possible if the if the seeds are sown in the nursery beds. Then preparation of seedling even in the adverse situation, right? Then easiness for the care and maintenance because of the hardy area. Site of selection, where we have to select the nursery beds. Always we should keep in mind that the area should be free from waterlogging. It should be away from shade to get the desired sunlight. The nursery area should be near the water supply. Area should be fenced from the pet and wild animals, right? So at the time of selection of site, we should keep in mind that these points, like there should not be waterlogging, that area should not be shady area, water supply should be there, and the area should be fenced properly. Next is soil and soil preparation. So whenever we sow the seed in nursery, we should keep in mind that the soil should be sandy loamy, it should be loose, it should be friable and rich in organic matter, and it should be well drained, and the pH of soil should be 7, nearly 7. Okay, so soil preparation need a deep cultivation of nursery land, either by soil turning, plowing, and subsequent 2 to 3 hoeings with cultivator. Right, so nursery bed should be prepared very well. The soil should be plowed very well. It should be soil turned, plowed, and hoeing should be done with cultivator. And nursery bed should be very fine, so remove all the clods, stones and weeds from the field and level the land. Then mix 100 kg well rotten farmyard manure or 500 gram of vermicompost per square meter mixed in the soil, right? So nursery beds should be um, they should be rich in organic matter, so farmyard manure should be added or vermicompost should be added so that that soil can provide the required nutrients to the seeds to germinate, right? So soil preparation should be done very well. Next is soil treatment. Before sowing of the seed, soil treatment should done. Soil solarization is very important. Soil solarization means that after plowing the soil, we should keep the field vacant for about 15 days or for about a month so that any fungus, any bacteria or any insect pest in the soil should be eliminated with the solarization treatment. Then drenching of soil with formalin at the rate 1.5 to 2% concentration. So we should drench the nursery beds with the formalin so that to protect the seedlings against any diseases. Then fungicides like Captan or Therum, these can also be added to the soil so that the seeds can be uh, saved from any kind of diseases. Next is nursery bed preparation. So firstly we plow the soil of the nursery, then we have to treat the soil properly by soil solarization or with some chemicals like Captan or Therum, right? And now how to prepare nursery beds. So nursery beds should be prepared according to the seasons and according to the crop, and each crop has different requirement, right? So nursery beds should be made according to the crop and season. Raised beds in the rainy seasons and flat beds for the winter and summer season. Okay, so in the summer and winter season we can make the beds flat, but in the rainy seasons the raised bed should be made, because if there are flat beds in the rainy seasons, then there may be stagnation of water and seedlings may spoil. So there should be always raised beds in the rainy season. Then prepare soil mixture in the ratio of 1:1:1 of soil, sand and well rotten farmyard manure or leaf mold. So at the time of bed preparation, we should mix soil, sand and well rotten farmyard manure in the ratio of 1:1:1, and then this mixture should be added in the nursery bed soil. Raised beds. Raised bed means the bed should be high from the ground level at least 15 to 20 centimeters, right? And the width of beds should be 1 meter. And space of 30 to 40 centimeters is left between two beds. Slightly raised in the center compared to the margin for easy drain of the bed. So these beds should be slightly raised in the center because the water drainage will be easy. Right, so bed should prepare in the east-west direction and line should be made in the north to south direction on the beds, right? So these are the beds, the structures of beds. The first one is the raised beds. You can see that these two raised beds are there. There in between them there is path or irrigation channel, and these beds are raised from the ground level up to 15 to 30 centimeter. Drainage is good in these beds. And the next below one is the sunken bed. Okay, so in these kind of sunken beds, these are made when the rainfall is not there, right? So there is no risk of water stagnation and no need of drainage of water, right? So sunken beds, and in between the sunken beds there are paths, right? Next is nursery beds raising during the continuous heavy rainfall. So if there is continuous heavy rainfall, then we should make nursery beds that are properly raised. Seedling should be raised in the glass house, shade or poly house in small structure like earthen pot, potting pugs, polythene bags and curved tray by using soil, sand and compost mixture. And during the raining hours, these plots should be kept at the protected place, right? So small beds are made in the poly house or some structures like earthen pot or polythene bags, these kind of or trays. We should sow the seed in these kind of trays or polythene bags when there is heavy rainfall, and these should be protected from the rainfall. And beds during low and high temperature condition. During too low or too high temperature condition, the artificial temperature design can be created in the glass house or poly house for seed germination. So seed germination is done inside the poly house or glass house, and the temperature can be regulated. And raising the seedling successfully to catch the early market by producing the early crop, right? So during the very low or very high temperature, we can raise the seedlings inside a poly house or inside a glass house, and we can raise the seedlings early so that we can produce a early crop and can go early in the market. Next is sowing of seeds in the nursery beds. So in the nursery beds, there are two methods of sowing seeds. Well, one is the broadcast method and other is the line sowing. So in broadcast method, the seed is broadcasted. Okay, so nursery beds are 3 by 1 or 3 by 2 meters in size, and broadcasting is an easy method of sowing, and line sowing is also done on the nursery beds. And in line sowing, the seeds are sown in lines. So both of the methods are followed in nursery beds. Next, after sowing, the seeds should be covered with sand, okay, and seed bed should also be covered. So mixture of sand, soil and farmyard manure in the ratio of 1:1:1 can be spread over the seed so that it can protect the seed from the birds, okay. Then use of mulch or paddy straw or sugarcane trash during hot weather. Okay, so during very hot weather we can use mulch. Okay, plastic mulch can be used, paddy straw mulch can be used, or sugarcane trash can be used during very hot weathers, and in the cool weathers plastic mulch can be used. So with this mulch we should cover our beds. Okay. What are the advantages of mulching? It suppresses the weeds, okay, so weed growth will be very less. It protects the seeds from direct sunlight and raindrops, and it protects the seed against bird damage. Okay, so if we are doing mulching in our nursery beds, it suppresses the weeds, it protects the seeds from the sunlight, raindrops, and from the bird damage. Then removal of the mulch. Okay, firstly we have to we have to follow mulching in the nursery beds, and then after few days or after a week, after a month, we have to remove the mulch so that seedlings can grow properly. So when the white thread like structure is seen above the ground level, remove the mulch carefully to avoid any damage to the emerging plumule. Okay, so when the seed germinates, a white thread like structure come out of the seeds. So when it come out of the ground level, at that time we have to remove the mulch very carefully so that the emerging plumule cannot be damaged. Always remove mulch in the evening hours to avoid harmful effect of the bright sunlight, right? So whenever we have to remove the mulch, we have to done this operation during the evening hours so that our seed or seedlings or plumule cannot be harmed from the direct sunlight. Then use of shedding nets, and when seed germination is there, after seed germination, we can use shedding nets to protect our seeds from the high temperature. Okay, so if there is very high temperature, that is more than 30 degrees Celsius, Then beds should be covered by 50% or 60% shading nets of green or green plus black color, and about 60 to 90 centimeter above the ground by use of suitable food. Okay, so shading nets can be used when the temperature is very high, so that we can protect our seedlings from the high temperature, damage of the high temperature. So shading nets can be used, green shading net or green plus black shading net can be used, and some suitable sport should always be used for the shading nets. Then watering. Watering is very irrigation, that can be said. Irrigation is very necessary in the nursery. So light irrigation should be given with the help of a can, and excess rainwater or irrigated water should always be drained out and need no irrigation during the rainy days, right? So watering should be done with the help of can. A light irrigation should be done in the nursery beds, and excess water should be drained, and there is no need of irrigation in the time of rainy days. Then thinning. When the seed germination is completed, and sometimes there are very weak or unhealthy plants, unhealthy seedlings, or insect or pest damaged seedlings, and sometimes the plants are very dense in the nursery beds. So those weak plants, weak seedlings, unhealthy seedlings, diseased and insect pest damaged seedlings should be removed from the nursery bed. And when the plants are very dense, then we should thin out the plants, and plant to plant we have to maintain a distance of 0.5 to 1 centimeter between plants, right? So thinning facility balance the light and air to each and every plant. So when we do thinning, every plant get the proper sunlight and air, and that is better for their growth. Then weed control and plant protection. In the nursery bed, we have to protect the seedlings. Okay, so we have to control the weed in the nursery beds. We have to control any insect pest or disease during the nursery bed. So weed control is done manually. Pre-emergence herbicides can be sprayed, that is stomp at the rate of 3 ml per liter of water can be sprayed to control weed population, and damping off of seedlings or blight, disease and leaf miner and borer in these kind of insects and diseases infect the seedlings in the nursery. So we have to control all these diseases and insects during the nursery period. So care for controlling them in time is very essential, right? So these diseases and insect pest attack should be controlled in nursery beds. Then hardening of the plant in the nursery. So when the seedlings are properly, when they attain their proper size to transplant in the main field, so at that time we have to harden the seedlings so that they can bear the shock. Okay, so hardening of plant is done in the nursery beds, and we can done hardening. Hardening, what is hardening? It is any treatment that makes the tissue firm to endure better during unfavorable environment like low temperature or high temperature or hot dry wind, right? So this is a treatment that is given to the plants so that its tissue can endure the unfavorable climate, right? So in this process seedlings are given some
हेलो गुड मॉर्निंग सर
artificial.
हाँ जी
मैम ड्यूटी पे ही हो ना?
हाँ जी
अच्छा मैम, मैं ना एक छोटे से अपडेट करना थी।
So for hardening, artificial shocks are given to the seedlings for at least 7 to 10 days before uprooting and transplanting of the seedlings. So artificial shock is given to the seedlings in the form of the seedlings are exposed to the full sunlight. All the seedlings need this shock, and polythene sheets should be removed from the seedlings, and irrigation is stopped slowly and slowly. So we have to harden the seedlings before transplanting so that these seedlings can bear the shock. Okay, so we have to stop the irrigation 1 week before uprooting of the seedlings, and we have to expose the seedlings to the full sunlight. In this way, seedlings are hardened. So what are the techniques of hardening of seedlings? We have to withhold water at least 4 to 5 days before transplanting, right? So before transplanting, we have to withhold the water, and we can also harden our seedlings by lowering the temperature in the nursery beds or in the poly houses, right? So it retards the growth. And we can also give application of some chemicals, like application of NaCl at the rate of 4000 ppm with irrigation water, or by spraying 2000 ppm of cycocel. So in this way our seedlings are hardened, and at the time of transplanting they can bear shock properly, and they will adjust according to the new environment, in the new soil, in the new climate, right? So what is the effect of hardening? Whenever we do hardening of seedlings, then seedlings can bear shock properly, right? They can grow properly in the new field, in the new soil, in the new environment, right? So hardening improves the quality, and it modifies the nature of colloids of the plant cells, enabling them to resist the loss of water, right? So before uprooting of the seedlings, we withhold the water, we stop giving the irrigation. Okay, so hardening improves the quality, and it also enables the plant to resist from the loss of water. Then hardening improves the presence of dry matter, but decrease the percentage of feasible water and transpiration per unit area of leaf. It decreases the rate of growth in the plant, right? For the some time, the rate of growth is decreased, right? Hardened plants withstand better against unfavorable weather conditions like hot day or wind or low temperatures, right? So hardened plants can withstand the unfavorable weather conditions, and hardening of plants increases the waxy covering of the leaves of cabbage. Now what are the results? So when we grow the seedlings in the nursery beds, then there are many good results, right? So proper scheduling of activities and procedure can be done. So with the help of when we grow the seeds in the nursery, and then we transplant our seedlings in the main field, so we can schedule all the activities. We can be able for the management of nursery along with the raising of vegetable crops. So we can manage all the nursery operations, we can manage all the transplanting operations. All right, so this is all regarding the nursery management. Okay, nursery bed management.